Well, it's an end of an era. Cheap money is no longer an option. And when your term comes up for your mortgage, are you going to be able to afford it? Or are you going to be forced to sell? I hope it's not the latter. And in this video, I'm going to give you some tips how you can prepare for a higher interest rate when that mortgage renewal does come up. My name's Greg Axford. I'm a licensed realtor and property manager, and I have a real estate brokerage in the Tri-Cities, which is Coquitlam, Port Moody, and Port Coquitlam. We're about 45 minutes outside of Vancouver. My goal of this channel is to make educational videos regarding my market and the BC market, Canadian market in this case, to help anybody that's thinking of buying, selling, or investing. And if you'd like to get into a little bit deeper conversation about buying, selling, or investing in the Tri-Cities, make it real easy. There's a link below in the description. You can schedule it at a time that's convenient for yourself, and we can chat over the phone, over Zoom, or of course meet in person. And I'm very appreciative that you're here watching this video. Thank you very much. If you could do me a big favor, click the like button. That'll help get this information out to other amazing individuals like yourself that are could have possibly help in this situation, and click the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever new videos come out. Now, if you took a variable rate mortgage, then you are already feeling the effects of the higher rates. So this video applies to those that went with a fixed rate, a low rate at 1 point something, 2 point something, and your term is going to be either coming up, my guess would be 2024 to 2026. Now, the good news is the stress test did exist when you qualified for your mortgage. So depending on when it was, it would have been around 4.75 to 5.25, meaning that the bank would have used that rate to qualify you for your mortgage. Now, let's use some numbers. So let's say in 2019, you purchased a place for $600,000. You put 20% down, or $120,000 on your home on a 5-year term with a 25-year amortization. And let's just use 2.2 as an example of the interest rate that you got at that time. The fixed payment would be approximately $2,079 per month. So because the stress test existed when this was all happening, the stress test, like I said, you qualify anywhere 4.75 to 5.25. So the bank would have qualified you at, and you would have been able to afford up to approximately $2,972 per month. Now, of course, the problem is, I understand completely, is that when you have the option to pay less, you pay less and you do other things with your money. So while you may be used to paying just over $2,000 per month for your mortgage, you have the ability, or the bank would have said you have the ability to pay closer to $2,800 per month. So step one in preparing for your mortgage renewal is to inquire. Call a mortgage broker and ask for the different scenarios. So preparing yourself via an inquiry with your mortgage broker is the best thing you can do right now. So let's go through an example. They may say your term comes up next year. You'll need to renew your mortgage, at which time, if the rates are similar to what they are right now, let's say 6.5% is in the range, your payments are going to be closer to $3,200 per month. So in this example, that's about $1,100 higher than what you're used to paying right now. Most people can't afford that. So the good news is, because you had a cheap mortgage rate, you probably paid off a fairly decent amount of the principal during this 5-year term. So that would be one question to ask the mortgage broker, is what is going to be left as the amount of the mortgage at the end of the 5-year term, and work off that number. Now, the other discussion to have with the broker is, what does the amortization period look like? So if you did a 25-year amortization period means that that's basically the life of the mortgage. So you originally got a 25-year amortization period. You went through 5 years of it, so now you've got 20 years left to pay off the mortgage. So when you renew, what are your options, and can you extend the amortization period? Now, obviously, the longer you extend it, if you go 30 years, even some banks up to 35 years, it's obviously going to bring down your monthly payments. So that could be an option. I don't think it's a fantastic option, but at times like these, whether it means being able to keep your house versus selling it and downsizing, it may be the better option, because the cost of doing business, should you decide that, well, let's get into something less expensive, is going to be expensive. It's going to be anywhere probably from $30,000 to $50,000 by the time you calculate the property transfer tax, the lawyer's fees, the realtor's commission, and other fees. So keeping your home is going to be the best option. So the step one inquiry is going to be the most important step, because you're educating yourself on what the future is going to look like, what the payments are going to look like, and make no mistake, everybody's payment is going up. That's just the reality. So step two, I would say to come up with a new budget. After you've made this initial inquiry and you know what you could expect in the future in terms of payments, it's time to come up with a budget and cut out unnecessary expenses in your day-to-day life. I am certainly guilty of that. And when you take a look at your Visa bill, when you take a look at your bank account, the charges that are coming off of it, in my experience anyways, there is definitely some things that could be cut out. So reverting back to my original example where your payments are around $2,100 a month, but the bank said you had the ability to pay $2,800 a month, there should be a $700 difference that you're doing something with that money. Now, if it's just being spent, figure out a way to save it. And what do you do with it? That would be another good question to ask your mortgage broker. Are you able to put down higher payments now, higher monthly payments? Is your mortgage, are you able to put down a lump sum? Or is it better to just take that money and, if you can save it, put it into a separate bank account and have it as cash? I don't have the answer for those. I think there's pros and cons to each of those scenarios, and it would be someone talking to a financial planner or your mortgage broker to get their opinion on each. Now, higher rates are coming. There's no question about it. So I think the key is to be prepared. If you're on a variable, you're already experiencing the pinch of the higher rates right now. So this video is kind of for fixed term. However, I think preparing yourself is the best thing you can do. Have discussions. If you need, call me. I'd be happy to give any advice that I can. If you have any questions, please type them into the comment box below. I would love to hear them, and happy house hunting, everyone.